Okay, in the last video, I went through an example of when you have two different structures, how you can pick the structure that would be the best or the preferable structure. And so we had these rules here, and basically with this H2CO, I drew the Lewis structures, I figured out the formal charges, and then we looked at the rules. And so the first rule is for neutral molecules, a Lewis structure in which there are no formal charges is preferable to one in which formal charges are present. And if you look down here, this structure had formal charges of a -1 and +1, whereas this one didn't have any formal charges. So this structure is the preferred structure. Okay, now I'd like to do an example with an example like on 2 and 3 here. So anyway, so here we go. I have this NNO, and I'm going to go ahead and put the formal charges on, and then I'm going to use these rules over here to decide which structure is the best structure. Okay, so let's start with this nitrogen right here. So we know nitrogen has 5 valence electrons. So electrons expected minus the electrons that are shown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 minus 5 is 0. So this one's 0. Okay, this nitrogen right here. Nitrogen has 5 valence electrons, and it's showing 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 minus 4 equals a positive 1. So I'm going to put a +1 there. Okay, this oxygen has 6 valence electrons minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 6 minus 7 is a -1. Okay, let's do this structure over here. Nitrogen has 5 valence electrons minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 5 minus 7 equals a -2. This nitrogen here, 5 minus 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 minus 4 is a +1. I forgot I should probably write -2 by that one. Okay, and then oxygen here has 6 valence electrons, and I'm going to subtract 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 minus 5 is +1. Okay, let's do this one down here. This nitrogen has 5 valence electrons minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 5 minus 6, -1. So we'll put a -1 on there. This nitrogen has 5 minus 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be a +1. And this oxygen right here has 6 valence, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 minus 6 is 0. Okay, so anyway, now we are going to go through these rules and figure out which structure would be the best, okay, or the preferred structure. So anyway, for neutral molecules, a Lewis structure in which there are no formal charges, well, we can't really use that rule because they all have formal charges. Okay, now Lewis structures with large formal charges are less plausible, that means less preferred, than those with small formal charges. So we can see that this one has bigger formal charges than these two down here. So we're going to cross this structure out because it's not the preferred one because of the larger formal charges. Now, if you look at these two, they kind of tie. So there's got to be another rule here. And so among Lewis structures having similar distributions of formal charges, the most plausible structure is the one in which the negative formal charges are placed on the more electronegative atoms. So here, the more negative formal charge is on the oxygen, and here it's on the nitrogen. Since oxygen is more electronegative than nitrogen, this structure is right here because the negative formal charge are placed on the more electronegative atoms. That's the preferred structure. So this structure right here would be the best. So sometimes in AP chemistry, they give you structures and they ask you which one use use a Lewis structure and formal charge to figure out which would be the preferred structure. And you can see that this one, if you go by these rules, is the preferred structure because of the electronegativity and the negative formal charge being on the more electronegative atom. Okay, that's it.